Hello everyone, very good evening. And once again, welcome back to the session. So we were discussing with certain things like what are functions, right? Various types of functions and how we are writing inbuilt functions, how we can use a user-defined function. So the last day we were discussing about certain functions which are inbuilt, right? So inbuilt functions are something which you are not using any modules, they are inbuilt given by the Python. And they are also useful certain times because they are already predefined, they're already available. So they have their own advantage when they are predefined. So certain times what we have discussed in the previous sessions is that we want to write our own logic, we want to use our own logic, where we will write using def command, and you can pass arguments, you can make it as a default arguments, and we can call that particular function at any point of time throughout your 1,000 lines of code. So today also we'll continue with the functions where we will use certain inbuilt functions which are readily available in Python, how we can use them, what is a need of such inbuilt functions. So I would like to start with Ashutosh. Okay, Ashutosh, there's a function called as enumerate function.
Yeah, Deepti.
Yeah. Can you please explain me, define it? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, guys, first of all, a very good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to this session. Hope these sessions are being insightful for you and it is helping you, to come up with a more advanced knowledge of how to crack an interview pertaining to your Python questions. So, taking these sessions forward, and as our friend Deepti has asked, to throw some light on the enumerate function. So when we are talking about the enumerate function, when we are using the enumerate function, or when it is being used, enumerate method, basically this method adds a counter to an iterable and it is returning what the enumerate object. So when you try to use this particular method called as enumerate, the syntax is like you have to write enumerate and you have to give parentheses, right? And in parentheses, you have to write iterable and start is equal to 0. Now, what is iterable over here? These are the parameters that we give while we are using your enumerate method. And iterable is nothing but it is a sequence. It can be an iterator. It could be an object that supports your iterations. And the start is equal to 0 thing that I told you. If I say just start, not if I talk about 0, start is something that is optional parameter. And the enumerating starts counting from this number. If you say count start is equal to 0, assume that it is enumerating from the start. If you say that the start is equal to 5, so it will start enumerating from the 5, so on and so forth. So I would just like to share my screen and come up with a code that is going to further explain what I have said right now.
Yes.
So assume friends, here I'm making a variable called as grocery, and I'm giving some values to it. Say bread, comma, say milk, comma, say butter, and I say enumerate grocery, enumerate grocery is equal to enumerate grocery. Right. Then I'm saying bread type of enumerate grocery.
So it should add a counter, right? It counts like 0, 1, 2, it counts and it gives you bread as 0, milk as 1, the butter.
Okay. I'm trying to print the type over here, and I've also, converting it to a list over here by saying that print list enumerate grocery. Fine. And then I'm also trying to let me just should I just run this first, Deepti, or should I just
Yeah,
go with it?
yeah, please.
So it is showing me 0 bread, 1 milk, and 2 is your butter. Right.
Yeah, and the type is something which you're getting it as it's an enumerate type,
Enumerate type.
right? So friends, here whenever you're dealing with iterators, right, you need to keep a count of the number of iterations.
Let me try to change the default counters also over here. And if I say enumerate
Yeah,
grocery
it has to add a counter actually. You can change that, yes.
is equal to enumerate
Grocery.
grocery, comma, set. Assume. Right. And then I separate list enumerate grocery. Noise run this. This is the answer that you have. So now here I have specified your start. So the enumeration is starting from 10, 11, and 12. Previously, if you don't give anything, so by default it is starting from 0, 1, and 2, and whatever the things may be, number of items it may be. But when you specify a number over here, it will start the iteration from that only particular number. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So for our viewers, I would like to repeat once again, like whatever Ashutosh has explained. So whenever you have certain things and you want to iterate it for multiple times, right? You want to know the count, right? Suppose you have any scores, put it into any of the subjects or the subject and the marks, if at all you have, you want to iterate it. So what will happen is the inbuilt function and is going to add a counter to it. It is going to say that, okay, for 0 subject, you got the marks. First subject, you got the marks. Second subject, you got the marks. So it gets iterated. You can give, it takes 2 things as input. One is iterable, that whatever you want to pass it, and start. So like Ashutosh has given 10, it has started from 10. If you are not giving it anything, it has to start by default from 0. So the index value from where the counter has to be started is given by Ashutosh there.
Exactly.
It's up to you now, you can do that. Yeah, thanks Ashutosh. Now, Bharat. Bharat, can you hear me?
Yes, Deepti.
Yeah, Bharat, like now you have seen enumerate. Can you please explain me filter function?
Yes. Filter function is one of the functions that we have, like the built-in functions we have in Python programming. So what happens in filter function is usually for any keyword or function, you are having set number of arguments to be passed. In filter function, what happens is you have a function and then you also have a iterable object that you need to pass. Okay. First, we will look at function. Okay. We first have filter in itself is a function. Within that, we also have a argument which has to be a function. Okay. So what does a function do in the argument? We need to understand it will try to test the elements of a iterable object that it returns if it is true or false. Okay, if it is either true or false, it basically looks into the identity of the function. Okay, so what happens? It by default returns as false. And then on the other hand, you also have another argument, another parameter, which is called iterable. Okay. this iterable will be filtered. And these iterables could be your data types like your tuples, lists, sets, or any of the containers that we have as them, or we have them as iterators. Okay, if you allow me, I will show you right from the beginning, that is the syntax, as well as one of the examples we can take and show how the filter function works.
Yeah, please.
Let me share my screen. Would you please confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So let us deal with alphabets. Okay. First, I will show you the syntax. Okay. Basically, when you say filter is going to be your function, and then you have the iterable. So by default, you have to pass these two arguments. Only then your filter function will work. Okay. Now, going to the example that I mentioned, I'm passing a variable called as alphabet, or I'll say alphabets. And then I will pass these values. And of course, my values, I'm considering a list. I'll just pass random values. It's going to be character data. Or let me also have this is my list. Okay. And then let me add multiple lines to this. I'll define a function called as, okay, let me say filter something filter vowels. Okay, of these filter vowels of alphabets. I will define vowels. Ashutosh, what are vowels we have in English?
Are you checking my GK?
Yes.
A, E, I, O, U.
That's the easy way, because if you tell you write consonants, it becomes very tough. Vowels are only few.
Next time I will check yours. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yes. We also have A, E, I, O, U. Okay. So these are the vowels. Now I'm starting a if condition. I will say if my alphabets in the vowels or in vowels, then is going to be, or let me write it this way, then return
Okay,
true.
if it is in vowel, true. Okay.
That is right. So we are basically, this is the function. Okay, what happens if it is meeting, it will either return true or false. Okay. Else, I want to look at, okay, return false. Okay. And then filtered, or what is the function? Filtered vowels. Filtered vowels.
That is
Is
for
it filter vowels,
no,
not
I think
filtered?
it is other. Okay, that
Filtered.
is different. It's user-defined function, so we are
That is right.
using that filtered function, filtered vowels. No, it's filter vowels only.
Okay.
But you are not calling it, right? Okay, okay, right.
No, I'm not yet calling it. Filter or filter vowels.
I think you can make it filtered. It gets confused.
That is right.
Yeah, make it filtered vowels. But that's
I'm passing these values, no? So I'll make this filtered vowels only.
yeah, that is correct. That's correct. Okay.
So these are the iterable objects.
Okay.
What I'm passing.
The function
Okay,
is
now
filter vowels.
correct.
And iterable is your alphabet. That is a variable what you have created.
That is correct. Now I want to print I'll pass a custom statement. I'll say the filtered vowels are, is what I say. And then for vowels, or I'll say for vowel each of the character in filtered vowels. Okay. And then now I'm calling the function.
But sorry to interrupt. Is that filtered vowels out of the loop, right? So it should start indentation error will come? No, not required.
I think colon is missing.
Yes, yes.
Colon is missing.
Let me take this off. Okay.
Okay. So from that bunch of list of alphabets, it should return.
That is right. So let me execute this. Call the function.
Bharat, I think that filtered vowels should come out of the loop. Return
Okay.
false, filtered vowels Should
Mhm.
start from the line, first indent. Return false is there, right?
Yes.
Beneath that.
Okay, this one.
I think it should start from the statement, right?
Mhm.
First line. We have given space.
Okay, that is right.
Copy all the lines of code.
Mhm.
No, not that. From filtered vowels only I'm talking about.
Okay,
That space
this one.
yeah. Copy till
Okay,
end.
yes, I've copied it.
No, you have to copy the whole thing, right from filtered vowels till your end.
Then you gave space, no? Leave that space and paste it. Starting point. That way. I'm thinking so. Your print statement.
You want me to execute now?
No,
Yeah,
no, just a moment.
Filtered vowels, print.
Print should come right below the filtered vowels.
Yes. And again for loop. The first print also.
Above that, yeah.
That's why it's showing error. Yeah. Go back till last.
And your for also.
For also.
And this
For
print
that
last one. Give
Thank
the
you.
tab button. Yeah,
Indentation,
exactly.
correct?
Now it should give us, because that is out of the loop, right?
That is right. I will call the function. What happened? Let me make corrections.
I think you have to write vowels, or you have written vowel, what it is.
Let me make the correction here itself. Okay, first I have defined the functions, that is my list, and then also have, okay,
Yeah, any suggestion from the participants?
Yeah. Even I'm just looking for it. I'm out to now you
got it.
I'm asking the viewers.
Yes, I've made a few changes here in the indentation. Basically, we are looking at the indentations. So once you have this, the filtered vowels are, then you'll get A, E, I, O, U, all the vowels basically from your, it is filtering only the function that basically the iterable objects. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it will take a function. It will take the iterable objects.
Correct.
And it's going to filter
Correct.
the output.
That is right. So here, if you observe, this is our function. Okay.
Okay.
And then these are your iterable objects. This is how you can use the filter function.
Okay. Yeah. So just give me a second.
You want me to keep sharing the screen?
No. You can just stop. I will share my screen.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Okay, for all the viewers, once again we are back with the mind map. So whatever Ashutosh and Bharat have explained today, right? If at all you navigate to these functions, so you have the mind map and the Python programming is what I have selected. So when you just select this, right, and you have the mind map option here, drop down box, right? You have the packages and you have the fundamentals. So we are going only with the fundamentals as of now. So if you double click on functions, right? So we have seen custom based function. So Bharat has used a custom based function, which is def filtered vowels, right? That is a function what he has written of his own choice, and the body of the function is also his own content. Okay, after he has written that, then he had started using the inbuilt functions, right? The built-in functions, whatever you have. So Ashutosh has used a type, which is a built-in function, which has given us that it is an enumerate object, right? And both of our friends have used print, that is also an inbuilt function. So like that, you have filter, enumerate, map, all these are built-in functions where you are using along with your own user-based functions, which is helping us to write a very beautiful code and precise code where you see, any person should write, any developer should write a code which is very, very flexible enough. So using inbuilt and custom-based functions will help us to do this. That's where using these types of arguments, right? Like we have seen positional arguments, default, keyword arguments, we could do this. So all these three are a part of functions, but we are not using one at a time. It is a combo of all the three, which is giving us a very, very well, written code, which is very, very easy and flexible enough, and just satisfying our requirement. So I suggest all of our friends, please navigate to this page, right? So that you will get an idea of what are the things you need to remember and how you can write a particular code easily, right? So that's where we'll stop here, friends, right? And tomorrow we are going to see more built-in functions, right, along with user-defined functions, right? Like how we have seen list comprehension, dictionary comprehension, right? We can make very, very single line of code, writing multiple lines of code. You are out of that particular strategy, and now you're writing a single lines of code, right? So that's where we have very, very important or likely used function which is called as lambda functions, right? They are also custom based functions, but we are using this custom based lambda function when you want to use it only one time. Multiple times you want to iterate it, you want to use multiple times of what Bharat has written or Ashutosh has written. Enumerate for enumerate he has written. Now Bharat has used a function which is filtered vowels, right? So he can use that particular filtered vowels, and he thinks that he want to use it multiple times. He is using that particular user-defined function starting with a DEF. But I want to only do it for one particular line of code, only on one particular stage. I want to use that particular custom defined function of my choice, and I don't want to use it repeatedly again and again. That time this anonymous function comes into picture, and it is a nameless function. So very, very crisply written, this mind map is really going to help you to recollect few things here. So I suggest you people, it's very easy, right? Navigate to this page and try to understand things which are very, very important, and you want to recollect it many times so that you will get back to those topics and use it again. So that's it for today, friends. Thank you all for joining in. Thanks for watching the recorded sessions. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please follow our page on Facebook as well as on LinkedIn. So thank you, friends.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bharat.
Thank you, everyone. Share the video with your co-workers, your managers. Let them know that you're upskilling yourself, and do drop your comments, feedback, and if you have any queries regarding these sessions pertaining to the concepts that we are doing. Thank you, everyone.